Okay, we're picking up with part 2 of our EOC review for biology. Number 13 says the graph below shows a population of pigeons living in a neighborhood over a 10-year period. Which of the following statements could account for the change in population between the years 7 and 8? Okay, so our question is asking about years 7 and 8, so let's find years 7 and 8. There's 7, there's 8. So what happened between 7 and 8? The line is going down, so that means the population is decreasing. So we're looking for something that's going to make population decrease. A says the birth rate of the pigeons increased. Well, if more pigeons are being born, that would not make the population decrease. B says the immigration rate of pigeons decreased. Well, immigration starts with E, so that's the pigeons exiting. So if there's fewer pigeons leaving, then that would not decrease the population. That would cause it to increase maybe a bit. C says the death rate of pigeons exceeded the birth rate. Well, if more are dying than are being born, yes, that would decrease the population. So C sounds good. Let's just look and see what D said. D said the neighborhood reaches carrying capacity for the pigeon population. That would tend to make a little dip in the population if it surpassed the carrying capacity. But I don't know that that's the case because we were higher there and we were higher there. So I think C would probably be the best answer. What makes population decrease? That would be the death rate of the pigeons was greater than the birth rate. C would be that correct answer. Number 14 says a group of students is building a model of an ecosystem. Which of the following organisms should the students select to act as a decomposer? Remember, our decomposers are going to break down dead things in the environment to return those nutrients to the ecosystem. And tortoises eat grass and leaves and things usually. Flowers get their energy from the sun. Spiders, well, we know about spiders. So fungi. Mushroom is a fungi. It's going to, it gets its nutrition through absorption. It's usually growing on things like rotting leaves and rocks. Not rotting rocks, rotting leaves and logs. That's what I'm trying to say. Rotting leaves and logs. You're going to see mushrooms growing. They're breaking those down and returning the nutrients. So mushrooms are decomposers. Number 15 says after a volcanic eruption has covered an area with lava, which of the following is the most likely order of succession in repopulation of the area? And so if we have a lava flow that's cooled and hardened into rock, fresh rock, there has never been life on that rock before because that rock wasn't there before. So there's never been life there. It's the first time there's life, so that is primary succession. So remember, primary succession, what would be our pioneer species are the first thing that are going to grow there. And we're not going to jump right to grasses and shrubs. Those are the pioneer species in secondary succession, so we can eliminate those two. Okay, lichens and mosses are both pioneer species in primary succession. So then we need to look at the rest of it and see which order is correct. Okay, this one says mosses, grasses, lichens, trees. Now we're not going to go from mosses to bigger grasses and then go back down to lichens. So that one doesn't look right. A says lichens to grasses. We're getting a little bit bigger to shrubs and then to trees. So A would be the correct answer for primary succession, lichen, grasses, shrubs, and trees. And we talk about plants a lot when we talk about succession, but also as the plants are going through these stages in primary succession, the animals are as well. Okay, so think about lichens. We might have maybe a bug or two come in. And then as we get more dirt and start growing grasses, remember it takes a long time to make dirt. That's what the lichens and mosses are doing. They're working on making that dirt. So primary succession takes a really long time because you have to make dirt. And then we get some grasses growing. We might get some grasshoppers and things like that in there. And then as we start getting shrubs, we might get a few small birds, maybe a bunny. And then when we get to trees, we get the bigger things like deer coming into the area. So as the plants are going through that succession, so are the animals. Okay, here we have on 16, we have stage W, so we have trees there, lots of trees. Stage X, looks like a few little shrubs and bushes there. Stage Y, there's a few trees. Stage Z, Side of the mountain there. It says when this is Mount St. Helens. So when Mount St. Helens volcano erupted, the blast covered much of the surrounding area with ash. Based on the diagram above, which list shows the sequence of secondary succession that followed the eruption? Okay, ash is kind of like dirt. It just adds more dirt to the dirt. So this would be secondary succession. We have seeds and things that are still already there in place. So which order is it going to go in? I would say probably all these trees. This would probably be the climax community, the end stage there, the stable community. Remember, the climax community is when it reaches the stable state where it doesn't change anymore unless another disaster happens. So I'm thinking W is going to be our last stage. So, and that's going to bring us to A or B. We can eliminate C and D because they do not end in W. So X and Z, which one would be the best starting spot? Okay. Z looks like it was fresh with the ash right there, and then X looks like there's some little maybe wildflower starting to grow there. So I would say Z, X, Y, W. Let's see if that's what it says. Z, X, Y, W. B would be our best answer there. Number 17 says a wetland was drained to build a mall. 2 years later, there were no toads in that area. Why did the toads disappear? A says the toads were destroyed by construction equipment. Well, some of them were, but probably not the entire population. B says the toads died because toads could not breathe out of water. Well, toads don't generally live in water. They're the ones that have the dry, bumpy skin. C says the toads were frightened and went into the woods. Some of them may have, but probably not the whole population. D says the toads got their food from the wetland ecosystem. Think about wetlands. Flies, mosquitoes, those kind of things like wetlands. So D is most likely our best answer there. The toads got their food from the wetland ecosystem. If you take their food source away, then they're going to eventually die out. Everything in the ecosystem is connected. If you change one thing, it's going to change everything else. Number 18 says, how does too much fishing in an area affect the ecosystem? So if we're taking too many fish out, what's that going to affect? A, the fish will lay many more eggs to replace the fish that were caught. B, organisms that eat the fish could become endangered due to starvation. Okay, kind of like our toads over here. They don't have enough food. C says organisms that the fish eat will become endangered. Well, that too is a slight possibility because they could exceed their carrying capacity and population could drop. D says people could eat too many fish and become ill. Okay. The most likely effect of too much fishing would be organisms that eat the fish would become endangered due to starvation. We're taking away their food source again. Number 19, that's a graph of the white-tailed deer population. It says the graph above shows how a white-tailed deer population recovered over a 10-year period after a population crash. Wolves in the same area feed primarily on the deer. Which graph shows the most likely change in wolf populations over that same 10-year period? And again, we're talking about food sources. So if our food source is increasing, more food is available, what do you think is going to happen to the population of that predator if more food is available? Okay, this one, it's a flat line that says the population is staying steady. This one says the population is lagging behind this one just a little bit, but then all of a sudden it goes way up. This one says, again, the line is going down, means the population is decreasing. And then this one shows it held steady a little bit and then dropped. If they have more food, I would expect their population to increase. If you have more food to eat, you're going to be healthier. You're going to have more energy to go find a mate. More of those offspring are going to survive. It's going to lag behind just a little bit like it does here. It's not immediately, as soon as the deer population goes up, the wolf population goes up. It's going to lag behind just a little bit because they've got to have time to say, oh, there's more deer. Let's eat more. Let's get healthier. Let's have more babies and that are stronger. so that it's going to lag just a bit behind. But as the food source population goes up, then the predator population will also go up to a certain point. Number 20 says the genome of a goldfish contains 96 chromosomes. How many chromosomes will each daughter cell have after mitosis of a goldfish cell is complete? Okay, it says mitosis. And remember, mitosis is what body cells, somatic cells are doing. We're not making gametes here. This is just a regular body cell division. So after mitosis, if the original cell had 96 chromosomes, after mitosis, we end up with 2 daughter cells that are identical to that 96 chromosome parent cell. So they too will have 96 chromosomes. C would be our correct answer. Number 21 says the distribution of chromosomes in one type of cell division is shown in the diagram below. Which process and type of resulting cells are present in this diagram? Okay, notice in this diagram we're going through cell division 2 times. We end up with 2. Those 2 go through cell division, and we end up with 4. This cell started out with 1, 2, 3, 4 chromosomes. These 4 offspring cells here have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. They each have 2. So we end up with 4 daughter cells, and they each have half as many chromosomes. So if we go through cell division twice, if we end up with 4 cells at the end, that's going to be meiosis. We're making gametes. These are either egg cells or sperm cells. We're going through meiosis. There's half as many chromosomes and 4 cells. So this would be meiosis, which produces gametes. So meiosis produces gametes. C would be our correct answer. Number 22 says which statement about plant and animal cells is true? It has to be true of plant and animal cells. A says both have a cell wall that gives them support. Plant cells have cell walls, animal cells do not. B says both have large vacuoles to store water. Well, plant cells have a large vacuole. Animal cells can have some teeny tiny ones. C says both use mitochondria to produce energy. Yes, both do use mitochondria to produce energy. Both plant cells and animal cells go through cellular respiration to produce ATP energy, and most of that occurs in the mitochondria. So C sounds good. D says both use chloroplasts to store energy. No, that's not true in either one. Plants do have chloroplasts, but they use it to gather energy from the sun for photosynthesis. C would be our correct answer. Both plant and animal cells use mitochondria to do cellular respiration to produce energy in the form of ATP. Number 23 says there are many different enzymes located in the cytoplasm of a single cell. How is a specific enzyme able to catalyze a specific reaction? Specific being our key word. Remember, enzymes are a lock and key mechanism. The enzymes are made to fit just right into the substrate or the chemicals that they are reacting with or speeding up the reaction with. Enzymes are not used in the reaction. So sometimes we see diagrams that have pictures of an enzyme and the substrate sticking to it and come back out, and they want to know what happened. The enzyme does not change in the reaction. The enzyme is not used up in the reaction. The substrate just attaches to the enzyme, which lowers that activation energy, allowing the reaction to occur more quickly. A says different enzymes are synthesized in specific areas. Well, now they're all flowing around in the cytoplasm. Most enzymes can catalyze many different reactions. Some do a few different. C says the enzymes bind to specific substrates or reactants for the reaction catalyzed. That sounds good. D says enzymes are transported to specific substrates by ribosomes. Nope, ribosomes are making proteins. C, an enzyme binds to a specific substrate or reactant for the reaction to be catalyzed. C is our correct answer. And we'll continue on part 3.